Hey guys, what's up? Travian here. I really wanted to introduce myself and also talk about why I became a software engineer. It's a whole long story. There's a lot that's gone into throughout my life on how I ended up becoming one in the first place. So I kind of wanted to break down that to kind of help anybody else who's been either wondering should they go into software engineering or should they become one, or if for other people to compare throughout their own paths and life stories who are already software engineers, if they felt or done the similar path as me myself. uh as I said, my name is Travian, and obviously it's the channel name. This is going to be everything going on with my personal content as far as my life, things that I explore, who I really am. And yes, I'm a software engineer and I work in the data field. I'm not going to say what companies and stuff that I work at or worked for. It's just really personal for myself, and I feel like it's just better that way. But yes, I've been a software engineer for about 2 years full time. I'm only 24 years old right now, and I interned about for a year and a half. So, in the actual corporate business world of being a software engineer, I've been in there for 3 years already, and I can say one of the most fastest 3 years of my life. They just flashed by like that. But I realized I really love what I do and I want to grow in this industry, and I want to see how far I can make it and how much I can really learn coming into this. But how did I get to this point? Well, I'm gonna take you guys all the way back to what I how I used to be. So back when I was a kid, like most guys or most kids back then, what is one of the main things that you wanted to do, especially growing up? My era was play video games, whether it was the PS2, Xbox 360. All of those days, I used to always be at a friend's house, or friends would come to my house. We would play video games all the time, and of course, we did stuff outside too. But we had gaming competitions. It's what we did. It's what all of us guys did together. And between like certain instances, I wanted to start developing games. So I used to go to a friend's house a lot to be able to play video games, especially if we didn't have a game over at our house, because we would probably had to wait for Christmas or whatever to get the game. We didn't get it as soon as possible. And then there's also other games that it just cost a lot being a child to maintain. Like, for instance, I had a cousin that played World of Warcraft, and then I looked up how much it was, and I had my gift card to try to like play the game, and it was a monthly subscription, and the gift card is only going to take you so far. And games like that are, and between that, Call of Duty, Minecraft, there was another game. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, I wish it came back to me. There's just so many different games that I've played growing up, and it led me to wanting to create video games itself. Yes. I First thing I did was, as poor as a drawer that I am, I got a comprehension book, one that I wasn't using in school, and I would draw figurines out. I would write down, like, for instance, I had a fantasy game that I wanted to create once when I was a kid, or even like games like Halo or COD. I would write down like a species race or like a alien race name or whatever, like werewolves. I would write down, depending on the game, it changed, like some alien name. I would write down different types of weapons, draw out how the weapons would look in the game. I would write out what they would do, how much damage and stuff they would do. And I would write all this. I wish I could find these notebooks today. For the life of me, I cannot. I swear they're in the trash in some dump somewhere. If you find them, don't steal my ideas from me being a kid. But those books are probably incinerated. We're not gonna sit here and lie. Somewhere. But I used to do like this. I used to create stories for races, like a werewolf race for like some type of war game, like Total War or whatnot. Like, excuse me, where this race came from, where they originated from, and a bunch of different things like that, the different types of warriors that they would have. And another thing that helped me do this was a game called Warhammer. It's a tabletop game. I wanted to bring that into an actual video game, and kind of very similar to the tabletop, so that kids wouldn't have to go out and buy all of the pieces and spend time painting them where they can just do it on an online game and something like that. I'm just giving out free game right now. Honestly, I'm not, none of this is scripted, but this is the kind of things that I was doing as a child and I wanted to develop. So as I got older and started getting into computer classes and um also like getting my hands on a computer, I would learn coding stuff here and there. And especially when Twitch first came out, I kid you not, on my first Twitch account, I was following the game development page and there was like a bunch of different people on YouTube I would watch. Brad Keys was one. I believe that's what his name is. Yeah, I vividly remember him. There are people who would go live on Twitch at night when I was supposed to be going to sleep. I was watching people develop video games in code. This is like this is deep for me as far as like looking into it. Like my YouTube channel, I can scroll down to the part of my YouTube channel where I was a kid and I saved all these videos on game creation and how to do it. And this is from over 10 years ago. How I used to get done from there. How to do all the styling, do all this kind of stuff. And then that evolved into, hey, this coding isn't just for games, it's for all this other stuff. So I started getting bits and pieces of every little thing that it took in the coding industry, in the world of coding, and how to get it all done. Like I was literally getting all the bits and pieces. So yeah, every every little thing that I was picking up on, I noticed that there was just more to coding. And I would love computer classes that would let me code. Sometimes we would take classes and they would give us like little coding lessons in school. And I would just like complete them so quickly. I would try to run through all of it. This is my chance to get it done. I always felt like I didn't have a strong enough computer growing up to do a lot of coding things until, well, really like high school. I had something that worked, and then I really got a better machine once when I got into college, which my college computer was still not it. I'm telling you, do not go to college for software engineering and use a Surface Pro. It will die very fast. I kid you not. It did not make it to junior year. And that's when the coding really started picking up. And our junior year of college. But what shifted me from going into game design is I would talk to my dad once, and both of my parents, they asked me what I wanted to do in college, what I wanted to major in, and I knew it had to do something with like software engineering and being a software engineer, and that could have been mechanical or like coding. I didn't think it was actually I had an option for game development as well too. I got accepted into Full Sail. It's in a school in Florida, and they told me about some scholarship programs, and you can get done in the 2 years of the program, and then you can go into the working industry straight from there. It will cost this amount of money. I talked to the people who were there once when I got accepted in Full Sail, but I also got accepted into many other universities that go beyond just game design, and I had to make a choice at that point in time. At this time, I'm a lot older. I'm 18 years old. I'm not the same 10 to 14-year-old that wanted to make video games only, but I'm thinking about how I want my life to end up. And I started doing research on between how much game developers make, how they're treated in the industry, the freedoms that they really get. Like, what if I get put on a project that I really don't, I'm not that inspired into, and things like that. And if I was, I would have to be like an indie developer. And I have a friend who is one, and he makes some awesome games. We have game nights to test his games out all the time. Chris, this is a shout out for you. I hope you watch this video. It's because it's very important. But I had to make a choice at that point in time of going into college and do I want to make video games anymore? How important was it for me? And I realized based on like how cost was going and all of these other things, I wanted to be a software engineer instead. I wanted to see what was beyond gaming alone. I wanted to see what other options were available for me besides just being a game developer because there's just more to life than that. And one of the things I just watched episode that I reacted on my podcast channel, Mark Zuckerberg did a interview with somebody, I guess after one of the events for Meta, and he said just keep building things to figure out what you want to do and stuff like that. If you're some people are just buildaholics and you just figure out where you go from there. And this goes into a topic for another video that we can go into, but I wanted to explore and see what I like doing. And that's college as being a comp sci major was going to give me that advantage to see is there more besides game design that I would potentially like, and what gives me the best path as far as myself and career wise to dive into that kind of route. Where do I want to go into? And that became being a software engineer. So I go to college, I start taking some classes. The intro classes, they're easy, they're a breeze, but I'm also working full time, so it's very stressful to get through college. And I'm going to talk about my college experience in another video as far as why you can't graduate in 4 years, especially in a comp sci degree unless you're only there for school possibly. Yeah, I could have done it, but I went for a bachelor of science degree. And this will go into another video. If you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments, because I'm so open to talk about some of my personal experiences as a software engineer that I feel a lot of big people on YouTube nowadays, they don't really talk about their experiences of going through college, and really relating to other people in that aspect. Like all these people who are already in their careers. I mean, I'm in my career, but I don't hear them talk about this kind of stuff and have these kind of conversations with people, especially online, to help them kind of navigate through their own lives as well too. And if you have any questions as far as getting through certain aspects of deciding on where you want to go and if you should make the switch, feel free to ask in the comments. I can either make a video for it or I can reply to you, and I'm open to it. But that's the major milestone of me switching off of wanting to be a great game creator and going into what more may be out there. So if I if I'm asking myself if I made the right choice right now, I would say yes, and I would say that because this is what happened. I started learning even more about the gaming industry and stuff, as I said, and I kind of figured I didn't want to be in there. And if I created games for a company, what if it took the enjoyment out of it for me? I'm already very busy, so when I do play games, I really want to enjoy it as an escape system. But I didn't want to take that enjoyment possibly from me. And I felt like it would have been always a thing of me thinking about how to work around it if I was one. So once when I got my internship, I really started to see how corporate was working in a sense, and I started seeing like, oh, this is how software engineers get treated. This is right after COVID, so things were going good, and they were amazing. I landed the job, and I really looked for an internship because I thought it was a graduation requirement, or that it used to be, but it's not. So I just got one. And one of the things that I noticed was everybody who got an internship pretty much got a return offer back at the university that I went to. At least the ones that I talked to or that I was hanging around. Like I have some good friends that also did internships and they work in it. I'm sure they love it, and I would do more videos with them. Of course, for sure, I would do more videos with them. But I learned so much. I jumped into a realm as an intern in the data field that I had no clue how it was. And then my senior year while I was still working in my internship, I took a class on database systems, and that was my favorite class. It was the smoothest one for me. I had a really great teacher in the university. Like he's one of my favorite teachers that I ever had in college, and that was also the best class that I had. So it was amazing. He also wrote me a recommendation letter for getting into the major as well too. So it was a lot of appreciation. And as I said, I could talk about more of my college experience as a software engineer if you guys really want to know. But I when I got the return offer that I was working so hard as an intern for, And these past few years as being a full-time software engineer, I learned so much that I want to know more. I want to grow into more. And that's just because of how I am as a person and how I am mentally. So, another reason why I'm a software engineer is because it's not easy. Like, it's not something that's super easy. If I did certain jobs, like I used to sell furniture at a point in time and just selling, if I do certain jobs and do certain tasks, I can get bored of it, especially if it's very repetitive. But in the realm of software engineering and being a software engineer, the scope always changes. There's always a new concentration you can go into. There's always more that you can learn. And I'm telling you, it's not easy all the time. Like the thrill of figuring it all out is it keeps me happy as far as learning what new to do, because it shows once when you jump over a hurdle in this industry, you realize how many more there are to go and how much more there is to learn. And I'm quite appreciative of it because I don't see a flat line or a benchmark for myself. The industry is so wide and broad that you you can really dive into a niche and be amazed. You can be amazed in it, but I do not regret my decision as far as not going into what Kid Me wanted to do at all, not one bit. I I really appreciate the opportunities that I was given and the life that I have now and the kind of work that I'm doing also now. So I believe it was the right choice, and that's how I became a software engineer and why I am one, because of all those little things between Kid Me of where it started and the amount of stuff that I'm learning now and getting able to do, and the trust that I have with my peers, and who I'm really evolving into becoming. I I'm so appreciative of it, and it's what I want to do. So, and that's something that I want to make sure that that's for everybody. Don't just come into the industry because of the money and how much it makes, how much we make potentially, and how much you could potentially go into. Yes, it's nice, it's a bonus, but there are people who actually love doing this stuff. And this this life, as far as coding and growing up with it, has literally been my life since a child. And that's just my story on how I got into it. So I hope you guys can appreciate it. Let me know your guys' stories in the comments. And as I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and also please subscribe. There's going to be more videos like this, and if not better. So really dive into what's what we have going on this channel. A lot's going to be posted on here, and also check out my podcast channel. I cover tech news and a bunch of stuff going on in the tech world on that channel. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, at least bare minimum one weekly on that right now. When we grow, maybe we might go to daily. Who knows? No promises. But thank you guys for all tuning in, and peace. I'll see you guys next time.